Saturday night's main event just finished. What did you think of the show overall? Did it work for you? I thought that it was probably one of the better Saturday night's main events that they have done. But let's go through all of the matches. We got some surprises in there too. The tag team match, Bronson Reed, Seth Rollins taking on Sami Zayn, CM Punk to start off this whole night. You know what? I thought that this went by fast. Now it's a 2-hour show, right? And they got 5 matches, not the 4. They did 5 in total. And everything just kind of went at a really good pace, which I really did like. This tag team match felt like they went really fast, really hard, and they tried to get in and squeeze in as much as they could. I thought it was fun. Nothing really stood out to me though in this tag team match that was like crazy. It was just brawling. They did some moves on the inside, a lot of guys getting knocked to the outside. There really wasn't anything massive to write home about with this. CM Punk's first match since WrestleMania, which was kind of cool, but we got to talk about the finish because we had the return of Bronson Reed. Bronson Reed came out towards the very end of the match. He took out CM Punk through the barricade, which was an awesome spot. It left Sami Zayn isolated. They got the victory. Braun Breaker, Seth win, and they beat Sami Zayn and CM Punk. I think this was the right move to do. I've said this in previews, predictions, whatever, but I thought that the two of them really needed to win because you want to keep them strong as this new group. In the post-match, you saw they had CM Punk going and grabbing Paul Heyman's foot, trying to grab onto him, and that wasn't going to work. Bronson Reed came in, started just he splashed Mr. Punk, and then he went to the top and he did a tsunami on a CM Punk. It looked nasty too. Crowd was great. Crowd was very hot for this. They chanted one more time, even to get it in on CM Punk. They even chanted for it, but he didn't do it. But then we had, now we have a 3-man group for this thing, and we've got Bronson Reed, Seth Rollins, Braun Breaker with Paul Heyman. I like how this is shaping up. Now, we didn't get any turn of Sami Zayn. That was the big one that I think was going around, was that we thought maybe Sammy was going to turn on Punk at the end of this thing. But I just felt like, man, this thing went at like a really good fast pace. Bronson Reed showing up, glad he's back from injury. This is an amazing spot for him. Wonder what it means overall for this group. Are they going to have Braun and Bronson going after tag team titles? Are they going to be going after individual titles? What about Money in the Bank? I just like that they are adding more people to this group. It gives me hope that selfishly they would add even more people, more members, just keep making this thing bigger and bigger. But here's one question I do have for you is, where do you think they go next? Where do you think they're gonna do? Do you think that this is one thing I thought of? What are they gonna do with maybe Roman Reigns? Could we see a 6-man tag team match of Punk, Sammy, and Roman going up against this trios at Money in the Bank? There's Night of Champions, and there's SummerSlam. Could this be saved for SummerSlam as a 6-man tag? I'm not too sure. I kind of like to see if they could maybe move things along. You get Roman back for Money in the Bank. That'd be a great spot to have him in. Do a 6-man. Get the bad guys to win again. I just like to see them keep building this thing. I love the direction they are doing. This was just fun. I like this as the opener. The next match, you had Zelina Vega versus Chelsea Green for the Women's United States Championship. A fun surprise that they added this match in there. I love Chelsea. I'll take her like every single week on TV. It's all good. This match, while short, like a lot of the show because of just you got a tight time frame in there, I thought it was fun and enjoyable. Unfortunately, there was a little bit of a mess up where you had Zelina trying to do a kick through the ropes to Chelsea, and it clearly busted her nose and might have even broken her nose. She was gushing blood there, man. But nothing crazy. Like, this is very much like on par for any match they would put on like SmackDown. So I have no problems with it. I'm glad they got one of the women's matches on the card that night, and it really helped to round it out. It's kind of funny, isn't it? You get like on a 3-hour PLE, you can only get like 5 matches. On a 2-hour network special, 5 matches. But I know they did kind of speed run through this thing. There's a code red on the top rope, and Zelina Vega retains the US title. Where are we gonna go? This is like what I often just wonder about is, okay, this was great. Now, where do you think what is the next direction for Zelina, for the champion? Where do they go from here? Are they going to keep revisiting Chelsea? I really wish Chelsea was getting into Money in the Bank, but obviously I don't see that happening. She lost the qualifying match. I just wish that she got like the US title, honestly. Maybe they could draft Chelsea and maybe move her over to Raw, go after the IC title, or even go after the world title. Something to shake it up a little bit. But when it comes to this division, this part of it, the US title division, who else is in there that they could really, I don't know, roll up to Zelina? Candice LeRae is big batty now with DIY. Maybe you want Candice to go after the US title and start something up there. But they need to add more. Like, they need to have more stories going in and not just throwing matches together. I don't like it when they just kind of chuck stuff in there. It's great to have a rematch for the US title. This was a lot of fun, but I wonder what they're going to do next with both of these people. Okay, then we have John Cena, your 17-time champion, going up against Ron Cena. R-Truth. He came out to John Cena's theme. So Cena comes out first with the belt. Oh, by the way, I love Saturday Night's Main Event setup. I just like that old aesthetic and feel where the crowd is right there with like the barricade. It's really fun. I just like how they have that simple stripped down entrance. It's one of my favorites. But you get Cena coming out first. This is a non-title match. Go figure. And so then once Cena enters the ring, Lillian Garcia does the introductions properly, and then you've got Ron Cena coming out. He's all decked out in his own John Cena-esque gear. I really liked how R-Truth did this. The crowd, throughout this short and sweet match that they did have, was very much pro Cena. I think we're seeing more and more of this, and I kind of want to talk to you guys a little bit about John Cena's like kind of future direction here in a minute. But anyways, this match, nothing wild. I thought that we're going to get a little bit more story to help flesh out John Cena's heel character, where we're going to get glimpses of Cena going face. But out of all of this, what did we get? We got John Cena doing shoulder tackles slowly, kind of like what he did to Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania. Then you had R-Truth do it to him, trying to nail everything. He nailed an attitude adjustment onto John Cena, but that wasn't enough. STF on John Cena. It was a fun back and forth, but it was just, man, it was just so short. Like, it really, really was. So Cena goes, once they were on the outside, they come back in, and, Cena grabs the belt, and he's going to hit R-Truth with the title to get the DQ, but he pauses. Truth turns around, like Cody did at it's like they redid WrestleMania match, but short. So then Cena pauses, right, with the belt, which is an interesting thing to do, where he wasn't going to pull the trigger on this. So then he gives the belt over to the referee, and as the referee, it was kind of perfectly timed, too, because as the referee just turned, he just hits Mr. R-Truth right in the low area. Unfortunately, it was attitude adjustment. 1, 2, 3. R-Truth loses. John Cena, well, I was going to say retains, but it wasn't on the line. John Cena wins. And then as they're doing the celebration, John Cena cuts everything short. Then he grabs the title belt and he hits R-Truth with the belt, and John Cena exits, and that was it. This was exactly what I expected it to be. What about you? Did you think you were going to get more or less, about the same? I thought this was pretty much on par. I like the hesitation with the belt, because they did the low blow following it, so that it kind of throws you off as a viewer of like, oh, you think John Cena is maybe having some, reservations about being a heel. No, he's leaning into it still. The crowd was very much in favor of John Cena. Even as Cena left, they're chanting, "Thank you, Cena, for taking out R-Truth." So it's a lot of pro Cena. And this is the thing, and this is what I wanted to talk about too with this whole angle that they're doing with Cena as a heel. With the next steps of all of this, getting into the bigger programs, like now we have done the R-Truth piece, okay, that's done. Now you start moving into Money in the Bank, you're moving into Night of Champions, SummerSlam, and beyond. Is the crowd going to cheer for John and boo Cody Rhodes? I don't know. But if John Cena keeps being entertaining and not being like Mr. Anti-Wrestling like he was with Cody at Mania, they might have to really be careful with how they present this and how they do this. Then we've got the steel cage match. Drew McIntyre and Damien Priest. I liked how this thing started, where they just went right for the outside. They started just going after each other. And then Drew grabs some steel chairs and brings those inside the cage. This was like... it's Saturday Night's Main Event, so it's not a PLE, and it's not going to be over the top crazy, but it did have some good moments and good spots in here. I did like that they did the superplex from the top of the steel cage, a lot of good back and forth. It was hard hitting. These two do have really good chemistry. I think I'm just kind of done with the feud, and I'm glad that this does. I think even Michael Cole said that on commentary, like, hey, this is the final match, or this is the blow off for this. It's a steel cage match, so this should mean this is the end of it. As we got through towards the end of it, though, we did see like Drew try to go for the Claymore with the steel chair like spot that they did at WrestleMania. He misses that. You have South of Heaven being done by both guys. Priest nails the South of Heaven onto Drew McIntyre. Again, the big moment here was the finish. Was going to be Priest grabbing the chair and doing a concerto onto Drew McIntyre and nailing him with it. It was an awesome spot, and I loved how vicious it was. A great spot. The great thing too was even Michael Cole referencing Edge. He used his name. It was fascinating that they did that. Confirmed Edge is coming back. But they did confirm and say that, like, hey, this is all done by Priest's original mentor or whatever from his first like from Judgment Day, or OG Judgment Day, the very first one that they had. They did that spot. So I like that callback. That was great. I'm glad that you dropped Edge's name on there. And then you had Priest walk out of the cage, and this upset Jesse Ventura to no end. Jesse would not let this go at all. As the match ended, Priest walks out of the cage, and Jesse just starts losing it on commentary the whole way through. Michael Cole kept trying to interrupt to clarify for him that, like, you can do that. He did not like that at all. Even when they came back from commercial break, Ventura's just like, I'm not having this. This is, what are you doing? Why did you walk out of the cage? Priest is the good guy here. That's the thing. Priest walks out and he wins, and he's getting there and he's celebrating. And Ventura's just going off and being like, I don't know why he was walking out. What a buffoon. So, like, he's just destroying Priest's credibility as a good guy to win the steel cage match. But anyways, I thought that was just an awesome moment. And then you do have Drew McIntyre still inside the steel cage. You bring in the stretchers and everybody trying to help Drew out. Wondering if, and what do you think? Do you think that they will write Drew off TV for a while? Priest gets the win in the steel cage match in the blow-off, where Drew had all the advantages for so long. I'm wondering if they will finally put this to rest. What do you do with Priest and Drew? They gotta go in new directions. They gotta do something else. I wouldn't mind if Drew did take a break. Feels like he keeps doing that, finishes a feud, takes a little time off. There's nothing wrong with it. But he did that with Punk, came back, goes to SmackDown, and then starts this thing up with Damien Priest. Now they've finally culminated it. It's done. I really don't know what you do with either guy. I feel like Priest is just going to be propelling in the US title scene. I don't want to see that for Drew McIntyre, honestly. I really like Drew. I like to see him move up. Maybe at some point he can try to challenge John Cena. I know I think there's still some spots left in Money in the Bank, so maybe Drew gets a qualifying match. He'd probably be in there with Damien Priest. But maybe Drew gets into Money in the Bank once again. You never know. And then he could finally find something else to do. But it was a fine steel cage match. There's nothing like over the top. It wasn't bloody or anything. I think Jesse Ventura was the best. He walked out the door. That was great. All right, then it's main event time. You have Logan Paul and Jey Uso for the World Heavyweight Championship. Good match. We got to mostly just talk about the ending here, don't we? But I will say Logan Paul, Jey Uso did put on a good match. I like the buckshot lariat. I do think that they had pretty good chemistry. And the match was going well. Like, you know, you got moonsault from Logan Paul. I just thought that, you know, they were putting on a good match. So no real complaints there. It was what it was. I was just more surprised at the finish that we got with this whole thing in the ending. So it looked like we were going to have the match come to an end. And then John Cena comes out and pulls the referee out of the ring, gets in there, and starts beating down Jey Uso. Now, earlier in the night, you did have a moment backstage between Cena and Jey where Cena's like, you're going to lose the world title to a YouTuber? Go figure. So then Cena comes out and gets involved and starts attacking Jey. And I started to think for just half a second, I was like, oh, they're going to do that at like Night of Champions. But then you have Cena beating down Jey, which is cool to see them cross paths. And then Cody's music hits, and Cody Rhodes makes his big triumphant return, and he takes out John Cena. And then we have Jey and Cody standing tall against Logan Paul and John Cena, and Cody Rhodes declares that it is going to be a tag team match at Money in the Bank between John Cena, Logan Paul versus Jey Uso and Cody Rhodes. What do you think of that? We're one step away from Travis Scott being added to that group, aren't we? Kind of an interesting dynamic of Logan Paul and John Cena. So I'm not against it. I think it would just be interesting to see how they will pull that off and what's the story. More so like what's the finish to that whole thing. But you know, having Cena in the tag team match, I thought inevitably he would get into a tag team match and tag program at some point before getting the one-on-one with Cody. Now we're going down that path. I just thought that would maybe be Travis Scott. They could still do that at SummerSlam though. Like you could do, well, would you? No, that's too much stuff going on. I don't know. But anyways, I think that, you know what, doing the tag team match is fine. You don't have anything right now, I guess, in the immediate future for Jey Uso to do and Logan Paul. And as I just say that, I just thought, okay, that's happening at Money in the Bank. And then the night after Money in the Bank, you're going to get Gunther versus Jey. So that could be why they are not setting anything up like now for Jey Uso. Money in the Bank's also right around the corner. Like, it's what, 2 weeks away? So it's kind of a hard thing because so many programs going on, like so many PLEs and shows just constantly. It's hard for them to push a larger story here. I'm thinking of Jay. So you can see why they would just do this at Money in the Bank. It does make sense. And I kind of wonder after Money in the Bank, are they going to put the title on Money in the Bank winner, whoever if there is a cash in? I could totally see that happening. But the story of Cody Rhodes coming back, what do you think? Is this too soon? Do you think that you're gonna get Cody? He got cheered, and he's over because it's a return, right? But do you think as they build a program again, are they gonna get? Is Cody gonna get a little booed, or do you think that maybe he's going to do fine because John Cena, Logan Paul will be together, so you're gonna get that heat with Logan Paul, and Jay is so beloved that him with Cody. Maybe that's the whole idea there, or part of it, that, you know what, this will keep Cody in the good favor of the fans. Because if you did another straight up Cena Cody, is my point, then you run the risk, I feel, of Cody maybe, just maybe, getting booed a little bit. Hey, I'll take a tag team match at Money in the Bank. Obviously, I would love it if it was a one-on-one match with like Cena versus Punk, but Punk is firmly into the other program, so he's not touching that. I wonder if we'll ever get that match before Cena retires. Just more curious, hey, what are they going to do to end that thing at Money in the Bank? They're 2 weeks away. That's a big match, plus the Money in the Bank matches themselves. What did you think of Saturday Night's main event? I got to say, they really did. I think they did a great job. They pulled off a lot of stuff to set up, and I'm curious what's going to happen on Raw and how they're going to move forward into Money in the Bank. So I think it was as good as like just a really beefy Raw, and they told a lot of stories, and there was a lot that did happen, and we got some returns there too. Guys, if you can, subscribe to the channel. It helps us grow here on YouTube. My name is Matt. Have a great night. Have a great day. See ya.